Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 73 and 74. द्वितीयं च तथा मासं षष्ठे षष्ठेर्भको दिने ऋणपर्णादिभिः शीर्णैः कृतान्नोऽभ्यर्चयन् विभुम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the second month, Dhruva Maharaj ate only every 6 days. For his eatables, he took dry grass and leaves. Thus he continued his worship. Text 74. तृतीयं च नयन्मासं नवमे हनि अभिभक्ष उत्तमो श्लोकम् उपाधावत् समाधिना. Translation. In the third month, he drank water only every 9 days. Thus, he remained completely in trance and worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is adorned by selected verse. Text 75. Chaturtam api vaimasam dvadase hani vayuvaksho jitasvaso dhyayan devam dharayat. Translation. In the fourth month, Dhruva Maharaj became a complete master of the breathing exercise, and thus he inhaled air only every 12th day. In this way, he became completely fixed in his position and worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 76. Panchame maase anuprapte jitasvaso nripatmajaha dhyayan brahma padaikena tashtau sthanurivachalaha. Translation. By the fifth month, Maharaj Dhruva, the son of king, had controlled his breathing so perfectly that he was able to stand on only one leg, just as a column stands without motion, and concentrate his mind fully on Parabrahman. Text 77. Sarvato mana arkshya hridi bhutendriya sayan dhyayan bhagavato rupam Nadrakshi Kinchana Param. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. He completely controlled his senses and their objects, and in this way he fixed his mind without diversion to anything else upon the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. The yogic principles of meditation are clearly explained here. One has to fix one's mind upon the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without diversion to any other objective. It is not that one can meditate or concentrate on an impersonal objective. To try to do so is simply a waste of time, for it is unnecessarily troublesome, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. So Dhruva Maharaj, small boy, doing such ghora tapasya. So we see the process of Krishna consciousness is not at all easy. Many people say, Krishna says, Susuksham kartam avyayam. Standing on one leg and breathing once in 12 days definitely is not Susuksham kartam avyayam. So the process of Krishna consciousness is difficult. It becomes sweet for people who are sweet, eventually, because it is a loving performance, loving service to the Supreme Lord. But to control the demons within us, to control all the elements which is not us, Pishachi iti vartate, like Rupa Goswami says. All kinds of pishachs are taken over this body in the form of habits, behavior, temperament, right? The modes which control us, the intelligence, the capacity of the mind which is given. These are all awarded by nature. It's called awarded. It's like getting an award. Because the living entities in the material world does all big things, thinking that he's a big man. Then next life he is awarded a cat's body, dog's body, or a king's body, servant's body. These are all awards given for our own activities in the material world. Now it's up to us what kind of award we want. Just to get a silver metal piece or a bronze metal piece or a golden metal piece, people struggle days and day in and day out, years together, right, to run from here to there. Right? Who came first? Well, it is a Kshatriya way of showing one's capacity, winning. There's a goal to win something. Now this Ghora Tapasya, like Dhruva Maharaj is doing, and in a very minute way, all of us are also supposed to do. Not stand on one leg, but sadhana. Because without sadhana, you cannot get the object of your worship. Whether it is material or spiritual, it doesn't matter. That is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, without sacrifice, you can't even live in this material world. You want something, you need to sacrifice. You want to eat, you have to stand in front of the stove and cook. You have to cut your vegetables. Or you have to have somebody to do that, then you have to pay him. To pay him, you have to work. So everything in this material world is a sacrifice. Now the question is to what level you want to sacrifice and to what purpose we want to sacrifice. So material world is not a place of freely thinking and achieving things. It doesn't happen in the material world. In the spiritual world, one can think and it happens. Satya Sankalpa. The Lord is Satya Sankalpa. And the living entities in the spiritual world also becomes that. He wants to worship the Lord in one way, everything is arranged. Here, if you want to worship the Lord, it's a huge endeavor. But that endeavor purifies. So that it makes us go back to Lord and worship Him to the heart's content. So here we need. Now it depends upon individual to what level one wants to take. If you say, no, Dhruva Maharaj was standing on one leg, I will also stand on one leg. Dhruva Maharaj was breathing once in 12 days. Can you? So it depends on each person's capacity. To what level of sadhana one has to do, to what level of endeavor one can do. But endeavor is a must. Without endeavor, you don't get spiritual results, and forget spiritual results. Even the material results one can't get. So Dhruva Maharaj is doing this Ghora Tapasya, which means that his determination is so strong. And in Kali Yuga, our determinations become so very thin, fabric thin, very sensitive, and we can't take any of these difficult tapasyas. So what do? So each person has his capacity to do this tapasya, and Srila Prabhupada has given the minimum quota of tapasya one to do in this organization. He has built to get the same result which Dhruva Maharaj achieved. But not that kind of a Ghora Tapasya, but some kind of a Tapasya. So without this endeavor, one cannot achieve his purpose. So endeavoring is one thing which the Supreme Lord does not provide. The Lord says, I will be the swift deliverer for sincere souls. Yoga Kshemam Vahamiham. I will provide what you don't have, what you lack. I will preserve what you have. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I will give the intelligence. But endeavor, has anybody heard Krishna in any verse saying, I will give you an endeavor? Never. Nowhere. The Bhagavatam Krishna says, everything is provided, but endeavor is yours. So we cannot shy away, run away from this effort of endeavoring for Krishna consciousness. And everybody achieves the same result. Krishna. If one is fortunate enough, he gets Krishna. Or different layers of spiritual success which is towards Krishna. even if one does not get Krishna immediately. He is on the path of Krishna consciousness. So endeavoring is one of those important aspects which one has to learn from this pastime, Dhruva Maharaj, this itihasa, this story of Dhruva Maharaj, under the instruction of Narada Muni, getting the Supreme Lord. Forget the very lifetime. He is getting in few months' time. So this is the same situation. Arjuna is asking Krishna, what is it to be done to get that? What is to be done to get you, the Supreme Lord? So there also Krishna says, endeavor, you do this way, you do that way. I cannot provide you endeavor. You have to do that endeavor. I can provide you the science. So the science of Krishna consciousness is provided. But how to achieve that science, how to practice that science has to be learned. And that way, spiritual life becomes an art. It's like a painting or a music. One has to learn from a teacher. See how somebody is doing that. Learn his different techniques, how he is doing that. Then looking at that and seeing and learning and practicing that, one is also able to do the same art. So Krishna consciousness is a process to be followed, not to be created. We cannot create anything. We just have to follow what has already been followed by people. Thousands and thousands of people have done that. Krishna says, Lavahavo. Lot of sages have done this and they have crossed over this material world. And you can also cross over the material world. So we may have a doubt, how do I do that with all my limitations? So to understand one's limitation is the first self-realization. If one does not understand one's limitation, how does he cross over his limitation? So once we know our limitation, then step by step we cross over those limitations with Krishna's support. But not without Krishna's support. Second chapter, Krishna explains what is needed to become a Sthita Prajna. Right? So many verses. If you see the verses from second chapter, Arjuna is asking, after Krishna explains, what are the ways, what are the actions, what are the ways a living entity who is perfect or on the path of perfection, he is doing. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana. Bahushaka hi anantacha buddhiya avyavasayinam. Resolute determination. So we see resolute determination in Dhruva. Resolute. Nothing else. I need the Supreme Lord. Now to get that determination, Krishna also says one should be pious, one should have good karma, or one has to struggle. But being resolute, the intelligence of those who are resolute who are irresolute are many branched. So if you are resolute, if you are determined, then you have one goal. Otherwise, we have many goals. And that is a distraction. Dhruva Maharaj here, do you think that he did not have distractions? So many distractions he must have had. Bhagavatam is not explaining all those details. Definitely he would have had distractions. But he is crossing all the distractions. So the endeavor to cross over the distraction is a basic aim of sadhana. If that practice is there, then one can slowly get fixed onto the Supreme Lord and the reciprocation of the Lord. The Supreme Lord is not an object you run fast and you achieve that. Supreme Lord is a Supreme Personality of Godhead who is reciprocating with every living entity, and he is watching what every living entity is doing, and according to the endeavor of every living entity, he reciprocates. So this is not a fight, a one-sided fight where a person is struggling to get Krishna. It is also a fight where the Lord is pulling us, but we don't see that. So when we don't see the Lord pulling us, we get discouraged. And if we see the Lord pulling us, what will we do? We become lazy. So the Lord doesn't come. Because living entities are so used to materialism of being served in the material world that he finally will want the Lord also to serve him. But the Lord says, I will take you back to Godhead. So why don't you take me back to Godhead? I'm ready. We can say I'm ready, but then the Lord wants to see that we are ready in Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. These are the three things we have, right? In fact, we have three personalities, especially in Kali Yuga, because what we think, we don't speak. What we speak, we don't do. In Kali Yuga, this is what people say. I will give you tomorrow itself, Swamiji, come, I'll give you. Tomorrow, Lapata, the man is not there. So by mind, we are a different personality. In our words, we are a different person. We'll talk anything and anything according to circumstances. Action, if everybody is there, we'll act one way. If nobody is there, we'll act another way. So when these three things are aligned in one resolute, that is, mind also wants Krishna, the body also wants, actions also want Krishna, and the words also want Krishna. And when we become expert in that, then the Lord recognizes. Until then, the Lord, many people are running. You also run. Happy that you're running. But finally, it is a action between the Lord, interaction between Lord and the devotees, where the Lord helps the devotees to come to Him. It is not an endeavor of our own, like the material, like the Mayavadis or the Karma Khandis, etc. They do. We have to do ourselves. Yes, we have to do ourselves, but the Lord recognizes and He takes us to His place. So in the beginning stages, we many times get discouraged along the path. If Dhruva Maharajas got discouraged, he had a palace to go back to. Suppose he had gone back to his house, the father will say, no, you went to the forest, don't come back. No, the father will accept him. Mother will accept him. The whole thing will change. The father is so upset. I neglected my son, so he ran away. So if he had gone back home, he would have been much better a person than before, as far as material comforts are concerned. But he is not going back. Well, his impetus for that determination was different. His impetus what? No, I am hurt. Because I am hurt, and my mother is saying, nobody can solve your hurt, only the Lord. My mother is very Krishna conscious. She has understood the entire Bhagavad Gita. She is saying that in this material world, there is no sukha in this material world. It is dukkhalayam asashvatam. Don't go to anybody. Nobody can give you happiness. Only one person can give you happiness. So that was enough for him to go. Because no happiness anywhere. So whether we can be as determined as that, then we had to know that there is no happiness. But we know there is happiness in Rasagulla. There is happiness in sleeping. There is happiness in spacing out. These are all lower happiness. So when we are stuck with the lower happiness, to get the higher happiness, to even to know about the higher happiness, it is difficult. The only way we can do that is by seeing somebody who is experiencing that higher happiness. And then we feel, I also want. Because that is a material nature. He is having a car, I also want to have a car. He is having a horn, I also need a horn. Because we always compare. So he is Sita Prajna. He is swimming through the material world with all difficulties, without any injury. Wow, how is that? And I also want to do that. This is an easy impetus for us to catch hold of, using our own anartha of comparing and equalizing. Because that will take us to Krishna. That is why association is so important. If you are on our own, it's difficult. When we are in association devotees, then we see many people struggling. I am also struggling. And many of them have gotten through. I can also get through. So we are very much oblivious to the fact that Krishna is as desirous to get us. So these difficulties that we face sometimes need to be taken and thinking that the Krishna is there. Supreme Lord is there. Let me offer some difficulties for the Lord. As Arjuna again says here, Shrita prajna ka bhasa. Samadhi. Samadhi stasya keshava. Sitadhi kim prabhaseta kim asita vrajeta kim. What are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? Because Krishna has already said, unless you merge your consciousness on the Supreme, you cannot be free from these material difficulties, dualities. Samatvam. To get the samatva. Because once you get the samatva, then the material difficulties doesn't bother you. How do I get the samatva? That is the first thing Krishna is saying here. When your intelligence is passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you should become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that has to be heard. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery words of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in trance of self-realization, then you will have attained divine consciousness. Unless you get divine consciousness, we cannot cross over the trigunas. We cannot cross over the dualities. Profit will affect us, name and fame will affect us, loss will disturb us, facilities not provided will disturb us, too much facilities will make us proud. Both these things are affecting. Dualities are there. Unless you are in divine consciousness, it is not possible. A man engaged in devotion service rids himself of both good and bad actions. That is why the Supreme Lord is saying that, previous verses to this in the second chapter, that your only work in this material world is to do your duty without looking for the results, whether it is profit or loss, success or failure. Because you are only supposed to act in this material world. And finally, the result is mine. And when you act in such a way where we are not looking for the result, you will slowly be fixed in consciousness. Slowly you will rise above dualities. So there is a result happening by our reactions in this material world. Like when the body is acting in the wrong way. So the body is doing all sinful activities, your mind will also be sinful. Other way around also, if the mind is always sinful, the body will also follow the mind. But when the body is doing sadhana, when the body is just acting according to the Shastras, just acting for the sake of acting, doing action as a duty, without getting affected by the results, not looking for profit and loss. When this external body is acting, something is happening inside also. What is that happening inside? Samatvam is happening inside. The ability to cross beyond dualities is happening inside. That is why we say external actions are important to change the insides. Many times we see psychologically insides, if you change, outside you can change. But in spiritual life, easy to change outside, then inside automatically follows outside. If the body is clean, if the body is in sadhana, if the body is engaged in Krishna service, if the body, we are working hard and not taking the result. That is why these services we do in devotional service is so important. Now, we are doing service. Dhruva Maharaj is doing his sadhana of standing. To stand whole day like that it's also work. When he is doing work, he is trying to give up the result. No, it's only for getting the Supreme Lord. His mind must be saying, oh, if you stand like this and become a great yogi, you will be a great yogi. No, I don't want to be a yogi. I want to get the Supreme Lord. So when we are engaged in different services, we need to internally keep thinking that, no, this is for the Lord, this is for the Lord, this is not for me, this is for my spiritual master. I am doing it as an order of my spiritual master, as a duty to the spiritual master. This external, anyway, everything is a mental speculation in this world. So if you speculate this way, even though I am not, but I keep saying that this is not for me, this is for the Lord, this is for the spiritual master, as a duty I am doing, I have no ability to do, can't do. Prabhu, you told me to do the service. I don't know anything about the service. No, you should do if you don't know anything about the service. Because don't think that you're doing because you know to do. You do it because Lord wants you to do. You do it because somebody else wanted you to do. Otherwise, we are always attached to our mind. No, this experience I don't have. This much I can do, that much I cannot do. Prabhu, you are saying something which I don't know, never done in my life. So we are always measuring to what I can do. What am I? What am I? I'm not saying that I am not this at all, so I can do anything. That we don't think. I can do anything as an order. So when we do actions, those things which we don't really desire to do, or which we never expected to do, or those things which I thought I can never do, I keep doing, whom will you give the result to? A sensible person will not give to himself. Easy to offer the result to Krishna. If you are doing a service which you are expert in doing it, whom will you give the result to? I was expert. I did it. I didn't know anything about it. I was told to do, I did it. Not my result. Not my endeavor. It was not a result of my endeavor. I did not do it. So by giving up this result, samatva is attained. That is what Krishna is saying. Just do your duty. You have only a right to do actions. You know the right. So don't think about anything you will achieve out of it. If you're doing it with bhakti for me, then it goes to another level where you're beyond good. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad. I don't get good, I don't get bad. Then you start seeing the determination is increasing, enthusiasm is increasing, because spiritual platform is everything about determination, peace, happiness, no lethargy. So when you're going towards that, you will never be lethargic. No, I was very enthusiastic before. Now I'm not enthusiastic. Internal engine is stopped. External engine is running faster than needed. Right? Our body is running fast, achieving this, achieving that, doing this, doing that. I did that, I did that, I should do this. No, I need this, I don't need this, I don't like that. No, I go here. External engine is working so hard. Internal engine is sleeping. When the internal engine is working hard, what is the heart of internal engines? Thinking, denying, self-denial. Mentally doing this denial process and offering it to Krishna, everything, and finding myself as nothing, will give this samatva. When that samatva comes, then what happens? Circumstances, comfortable, not comfortable, happiness, not happiness, getting recognized, not getting recognized, all these things will become a secondary thing, won't become a priority. Because today, these are all priorities. If I don't get that, I cannot exist in Krishna consciousness. Arey Baba. I can't exist in Krishna consciousness. So we are provided. So we are all so much in our kindergarten in spiritual life that everything is provided. Then we are having some enthusiasm to do. But that is not a good thing. That is a wrong thing. Raghunath Goswami joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was taking care of so much. Put him under Surudamodar, give him this, give him that. He thought, no, I should not take this. Jagannath Prasadam goes to him. Said, no, he will deny that and he'll go and stand in a queue and get Prasadam. Or he'll go down and wash the Prasadam which is wasted and eat it. What are we seeing here? Just because it's provided, you use it? No. If I have a capacity to deny it for myself, why? If I deny it for myself, I grow internally. My internal muscles increase. My capacity to withstand this duality becomes. To reach samatva becomes. Labha, labho, aja, jaya. It doesn't matter whether it's labha or not labha, jaya or not a jaya. It doesn't matter. So that strength is needed. That is what Krishna is waiting for. Then he will pull us out. So there is an endeavor. And what is our endeavor? Our endeavor is not to achieve. Our endeavor is to deny. We keep denying. We are not talking about somebody. No. Prabhu, come for prasad. No, I'm not taking prasad. We don't have to do that kind of denial. There's enough things to deny in our mind. What is the basic necessities given to us? We don't have to deny. If you can withstand that, okay. But it's not something which everybody can do. What everybody can do is take the bare necessities provided by the Guru in his ashram. This is nothing but Guru's ashram. He has provided things, we take that, we use that. Anything more, we try to deny. The denial is more mental than physical. So when this mental denial is there, we reach this. That is when your intelligence has passed out of the dense cloud of delusion. That is the opportunity we get to grow out of the dense forest of delusion. Confusions after confusions. I hear a little bit something, I get disturbed. Oh, no, this system is not good. It's another process, there's another sadhu doing something else. All these things disturbs us. Why? Delusion. And what will take you out of delusion? Study of Shastra is there. Knowledge definitely helps us. But there has to be a foundational strength for the mind to withstand that. And that only comes from tapasya. And that is what Dhruva is getting here. Every tapasya he does, he is only growing richer and fatter inside. And that fatness or that strength helps us to find this material world as insignificant. And when you understand the material world is insignificant, it's achieved. Self-realization achieved. You are not bothered by the externals, achieved. Then only Krishna is there. Then loving service to Krishna can happen because you are not disturbed. Otherwise, like Krishna says, even one sense can take you away. When you remain fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained divine consciousness. Then Arjuna asks, what is the nature of this consciousness? What is the person's, what does he walk? How does he talk? The Blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desires, which arises from mental concoction, actually, all happiness in this material world is mental concoction because you are thinking that I am happy. As more and more my bank balance increases more and more, I become more and more happy. Why? It is a mental speculation. When the bank balance goes to zero, I'm unhappy. When the bank balance is very high, I'm happy. Why? What will happen? What is happening to you? Are you getting some current shock? No, I'm not getting anything. Bank balance is more, I'm feeling happy. It's a mental speculation. So similarly, if you analyze all the good and bads which we have defined as good and bad is a result of some kind of a speculation or the other. So when you give up all these speculations, sense desires will reduce. This is how sense control comes automatically. The more and more we make material world important, the more and more sense control becomes difficult. The more and more we make this material world as a trivial aspect, which has no significance, the easier it becomes for sense control. When his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So these states of consciousness is needed for self-realization. And action that we do propels and gives opportunity for these things. Now somebody is given a service, you will say, so what I'll do? All this kind of philosophization, or I'll do some work. I do my work and not take the result. That itself generates knowledge. Because we know renunciation of matter generates knowledge. When knowledge is increased, then your meditation on the Supreme increases. So it all starts from action. Bondage also starts from action. Liberation also starts from action. Whether it is Dhruva Maharaj or XYZ or any of us. Dhruva Maharaj can also increase his material happiness by the tapasya he is doing. So much of yogic siddhis you could have got. Now he is not getting deviated by any of those things. He is directly going, looking for the Lord. But this is our journey also. Not only Dhruva Maharaj journey. He may be eating dry leaves and dry grass. We cannot do that. We need something better. How much better? Should there be varieties from different countries? So our idea is eat something. So your body is strong. No, I have stomach trouble. Eat something else. So if we can think our eating requirement is necessary but not the absolute, we gain brownie points in spiritual life. Every aspect we do in our ashram is actually to get points on spiritual life. No. I have to chant my rounds, then I will do other things. Point. I have to do devotional service. I don't know how to do it. I don't like to do it, but I do it. We gain a point. We are so materialistic because we are all coming from this so-called professional background. And where are you from 1 year from now? Where will you be? 5 years from now, where will you be? And which level will reach? That's what we say. Okay, 5 years from now, where will I be in spiritual life? So we have enough impetus to go to spiritual life by gaining these points every day. Chanted 16 out of 16 rounds, 10 rounds was okay. Next day, 16 rounds, 12 rounds were okay. These are all the points we need to get. I'm doing this service because my spiritual master told me. He is happy. I'm happy. So we are here to do activities, not to be specialized in an activity or to show off that I could do that activity or to use my past ability. These are all the different concepts we have. But when activity is done for activity, for pleasing somebody else other than me, then the internal muscles grow. Otherwise, internal muscles are weak. Because internal muscles are weak, we don't feel enthusiastic after a few years, like I was before. I don't get any taste for hearing Lord's philosophy. I don't have taste to read. These are all signs of muscle weakness. We have to go to a fitness center. What is a fitness center? So every action we do can be an opportunity to do fitness. We do yoga, we do exercise, half an hour, 1 hour a day to take care of the material body. But we have at least 16 hours of our wakeful time to do this fitness, which is done through denial of enjoyment, self-enjoyment, which is nothing but results. Then you ask, what is the meaning of giving up results? You come, you have collected 10 lakh check. Came, took the check, cut the receipt, we put it inside the hundi. Next day the hundi was opened, collection is taken, bank mein deposit kiya. Bank mein deposited and it's already spent. But the money is still in my heart. Money came, money was put, not mine, given, gone, used, consumed, everything over, balance sheet, signs, everything done. But that money is still in my heart. This is fruity act. So we keep it, the result of the action. Mentally, you cannot give physically, check is given. Similarly, every action we do, I trained somebody. 50 people are sitting. इसमें से 30 हम बनाया है. The thieves will get Krishna consciousness, get trained and maybe go back to Godhead. You will be sitting and saying, 50 mein 30. So that is eating our own results. So when are we going to give up this? This is what Krishna is waiting. By giving up this, that is when our internal muscles for Krishna consciousness. Now, this is a mechanical process actually. Nothing spiritual about it. It's a mechanical process. Just like you increase the mechanical muscles in the body, we increase our internal muscles. Why? To give the material world its due respect. Not more than that. Making the material world as trivial as it is. It's supposed to be. But today I have made a very big deal about this material world. Within my mind. With my own mental speculation. By which it is restricting me to surrender to Krishna. Hence Krishna is saying all this mental speculation, give up. And how does this cloud go away? By action in Krishna consciousness. Action without results. So doing on behalf of somebody, doing because it is told, doing things with permission, all these are such an important spiritual principle because it increases our internal ability to know the truth of this material world. Because by knowing that, I can surrender better. This is the only thing which is keeping me away from surrendering to Krishna. This knowledge of material world is important, which I have speculated and created on my own. So we only need to give up ourselves, in the sense our self which has been generated because of my birth, my studies, my upbringing. When I give that up, then the real I slowly starts opening up. And the nature of that real I is samatvam, the one unadulterated knowledge. In that platform, Krishna consciousness becomes very easy. Because love is already there in the soul. We don't have to create love within us because it's a natural propensity, loving the Supreme Lord, because we are connected. So only this dirt, muck, a dirt which has been created by our own self, has to be given up. So this sadhana, like Dhruva is doing, it helps in that. And whatever small sadhana we do, naturally helps in that. And the result of that internal growth is so many things. Maybe you would have got samatvam, you're growing in spiritual life, and suddenly you will find fire coming out of your hair, sparks coming out of your hair. Everything that you say is becoming reality. Alright? Kuch siddhi hai. That diverts you again. So this doesn't finish. Not that just sense control, then I'll be free. No. This pishachi will keep coming with us of again and again till we give up and go back to Krishna. In the form of, first will be difficulties, then will be success, then will be siddhis. We'll get attracted to all those things. But we have to give up all those things. So starting is sense control. We think it is the end. It is not the end. But it happens gradually when this internal muscle increases. And that cannot be done overnight. It's a month on month, year on year job to increase it. Many times we fail, keep again, fail again. Doing this, there is absolutely nothing for us to gain materially. By these things we are holding on to. By giving those things up, we only get Krishna. And when Krishna is there, spiritual master is there, then what do we get? Happiness. Happiness, which Krishna is saying in second chapter. What gives him his shanti, absolute strength, shanti. Let me stop here. We can continue tomorrow. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So my question is regarding the internal work we have to do. So, for example, let's take example of social gratification we do, right? So in that case, two things we can do from our side, from our conscious efforts. First thing is denial, as you mentioned, and the second thing could be substitution, right? The replacement of that thing, replacing that with something higher. So denial would be very repetitive in some way. We are denying, oh, I don't want this result, or I don't want, continuously denying that thing. At the same time, replacement could be also a way. Replacement of that. Okay, so I'm doing it for, So what is the better way, or should we combinedly take them?
Definitely among these two practices, replacement is the best. We are doing it for Prabhupada. Prabhupada has done so much. Just help. But what happens is that in our nature, it kind of wanes out. So you need to have a mixture of little bit of its denial, its determination, a mechanical process also. So you have a combination of mechanical process. At the same time, your objective is loving service for Prabhupada. Because that's easy, right? So that once you love somebody, then everything becomes easy. Because when you love somebody, then you do anything and everything. But it is not always possible to sustain that love because of our past karmas, the triguna which is acting on us. So there is a time when we need to put the vehicle in first gear. that is mechanical push. So you need to give a mechanical push now and then, and you sustain on this replacement, that I am replacing myself or my family or whatever with my Guru. He has done so much for me, I can give. See, when I say today my Guru has done so much for me, I mean, it's just plain words. I don't know the depth of it, right? Since I don't know the depth of it, it may not sustain. Once I know the depth of it, it will sustain. That is a stage when. Then your mind is never deviated from, you just do it for pleasing Guru and Krishna. So it's a combination of both, but definitely we are not impersonalists and zombies who are just doing just for the sake of it. We are not karma kandis. We are devotees. So bhakti yoga. Finally Krishna says in second chapter itself, for me. Everything for me. You fix your mind on me. So finally Krishna is saying it is me, the person. Because that love is already there. I don't have to generate it in me. I only have to give up all these things, which is stopping this generation, which is naturally there. So that natural love has to uncover, that's all. But this mechanical process helps in that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this is regarding this sacrifice. So it's a case of one donor. When I visit this donor and I ask him for donation, so he will give me 1,000 rupees.
He'll give?
1,000 rupees he gives. So then I ask him, you donate more. So he says, Swamiji, I'm giving with a bhavana, my bhakti. So why don't you see my bhavana and bhakti rather than seeing this amount? So how do I make him sacrifice more?
Yeah, this is exactly the problem with Indians, and that's why Prabhupada went to the West. When we know, we act smarter. So what can you do? That's all his level of sacrifice is. So you appreciate that, okay. You tell him, 1,000 rupees you're giving. Great. Slowly he'll think, Arey Baba, okay, 2,000. So there are so many small techniques you have to use to inspire him to give more. It could be depends upon what relation you have. It's not break his relation. With that we have to see. But we appreciate whatever he does. But we know whatever excuse he's saying is. Okay. But we try to philosophize with him. You can never beat him because he is convinced in what he is doing. So we just appreciate. Because when you appreciate what he's doing, probably it will inspire him to do more. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada.